Suppose you could teleport to your 70th birthday. What would you hope to find yourself doing? Going on a cruise ship? Writing your memoir? Partying in Ibiza or basking in the sun on an exotic tropical island? Very few of you would answer flipping fries at McDonald's, scrubbing toilets at Burger King, or begging for money on the street. No one wants to spend their retirement years that way. But surprisingly, for about 10 million Americans in retirement, that's their life. Instead of spending their retirement playing with their grandkids, fishing, or traveling the world, they're serving you. Hamburgers in McDonald's, coffee at Starbucks, clearing your shopping in Walmart, driving you around town, or sadly, in the streets. Old and homeless and completely isolated from the world. Lucky if they can find somewhere safe to sleep, and with no means to live a normal and happy life. That's their sad life. Basically, a situation that they might never escape. So why am I telling you this? Do you have your retirement well thought out, or will this be your fate?
If I had planned harder when I was younger, and if things had went better, I wouldn't be going to work this morning. I'd be going fishing.
What did you think you'd be doing at 66?
Oh, I would hope to be retired.
And what are you doing at 66?
I'm working my butt off.
I'm homeless because when I got out of the hospital, I lost everything. So I had no place to live. I didn't have no place to stay. I do recall sleeping one night behind a dumpster.
For Tom, Marianne, Linda, and 25.6% of retirees, this is their reality, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. If they want to survive, put food on the table and a roof over their heads, they have no choice but to get a job. And while this number is high, by 2031, it's projected to get even worse, as nearly a third of people who should be in retirement will be forced to find a job. People are living longer. In fact, you'll probably live well over 80 years, and most likely nearly 90 years old by 2060, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. And while this is good news for all of you watching, meaning you can now spend more time with your grandkids, go fishing, playing golf, traveling the world, basically anything you dreamed of doing in retirement, here's the bad news. As you live longer, you're going to need quite a lot of money to sustain your lifestyle. How much, you may ask? Well, according to Charles Schwab's latest study, the average American worker believes they'll need about $1.7 million to enjoy a comfortable retirement. And Gen Zers estimate that they'll need to save $1.4 million. And millennials think they'll need about $1.8 million for a good retirement. Now, here's the problem. Saving is not something a lot of Americans are good at. Actually, we're kind of bad at it. And a Bankrate survey found that just over half of Americans said they don't have as much money saved for retirement as they should. And in this group, 35% said they're far behind on their savings goals, while 20% said they're slightly behind. And if you take a deeper look, a Go Banking Rate survey found that just 14% of people have saved $100,000 or more for retirement, while a huge 78% have saved $50,000 or less. Even among those aged 65 and older who had the most savings, only 36% had saved $100,000 or more. And get this, almost a quarter hadn't saved anything at all for retirement. Basically, if most Americans were to retire today, they would probably end up homeless, which is a symptom of their poor saving habit. And these numbers clearly highlight a large gap between the amount experts recommend we should have for retirement and the actual savings of the average person, especially as they get closer and closer to retirement. But with the high cost of living and soaring inflation making everything from milk, bread, gas, rent, water, electricity, etc. so expensive, people are struggling to put food on the table, let alone set money aside for retirement. A recent survey by Anytime Estimate revealed that only 63% of people who have not yet retired are still saving for retirement, which is a huge drop compared to 93% before the pandemic. And aside from that, most people delay saving for retirement because they assume they have plenty of time to catch up later. And yet the earlier you start saving, even with small amounts, the more compound interest can work in your favor. And saving small amounts of money early can pay off much more than large sums saved later. So how does saving small amounts early and investing it put you in a stable financial position? And what is compounding interest? Basically, it's simple mathematics. And let me briefly explain to you how compounding works using two scenarios. And then I'll show you how you can also do your own compounding calculations. So first you have our friend John over here. He started saving $100 every month when he was 20 years old. After 40 years with a 4% average yearly return compounded monthly, John ended up with $151,550 at 65. Yet his total investment was only $54,100. Quite impressive, wouldn't you say? Then there's Nikki, John's twin. Nikki started saving when she turned 50. She began with a lump sum of $5,000 and then lowered it to $500 monthly for 15 years. Like John, Nikki also got a 4% average yearly return compounded monthly. However, by the time Nikki turned 65, her total savings were only $132,147, even though her total investment was $95,000. Despite investing roughly twice the initial amount John did, Nikki's savings still didn't grow as much as his. This simple example shows it's starting early and giving your money more time to grow can make a big difference in the long run. So keep in mind that it's not only about how much you put in at the start, it's also about how much time you give your savings to grow. Now, if you go to investor.gov using the link in my description, it'll take you to this website, which you can use to do your own compound interest or investment calculations. Here's the thing, retirement planning is a deeply personal journey, and it's one that requires patience and time, while keeping in mind that the initial number you put down on paper, whether that's $1.7 million according to the survey I previously mentioned, or something a bit more modest, the reality is 30, 40, or 50 years from now, life as you know it today will look completely different, and a lot is gonna change. So you have to keep that in mind. Rent, food, utilities, healthcare, and so on will likely get a lot more expensive. If you're starting to save for retirement, Fidelity Financial Firm suggests saving at least 15% of the income you receive before taxes are removed, and put that into a retirement fund. And this includes any contributions matched by your employer. But this advice only works if you start saving at age 25 and work until you're 67. Sadly, not everyone can start saving for retirement at 25 or manage to regularly save 15% of their income. If you start saving later in life or save a smaller part of your salary, it might mean that you'll need to work longer, cut your spending, or put a larger part of your income into your retirement fund. For example, if you start saving at age 30, Fidelity recommends saving at least 18% of your income before taxes. And if you start at 35, they suggest you save up to 23% of your income before taxes. In the description box, you'll find a lot more information that didn't make this video. And if you found this video informative, check out this video, How to Have a Debt-Free Retirement.